Another random one from the hat. Okay. So, when doing stand up and all that, open mic nights aren't always in the best places, all over the place, especially out here back in the day. Now, there was one in Detroit. It was on the west side. And, it can be whatever, I'm like, is it Brightmoor? No, it's not Brightmoor. Okay. That's a step in the right direction. I know this street. I don't know this spot. But when you go in, it's a bar. There's booze, everything around. This place used to be really dangerous, I guess. Maybe it is again. But to get back to the room where the comedy and stuff happens, you have to go and talk to somebody, and they have to punch in a code for that door to be able to open so you can get back there. Because back in the day, people used to get shot, like, regularly at that spot, around that spot. You know what I mean? And Detroit's not special that way. Other places have places like this too, so that is what it is, right? But the first time I went back there, the first time I found out about that was from this comic Gemini. He came on sitting down with stand-ups. Me and my ex were hanging out afterwards, and she wanted me to ride because we were giving Gemini a ride back to the east side. East side of Detroit, especially after dark, all that. You aren't from there. It's like any other city. You don't want to be there, right? Like, I have another story about the east side, but that's for another time. So, like I said, so that night, instead of going straight home, he's like, hey, let's go to this spot. Alright, yeah, it's just a few miles away. Let's go. So we go. He introduces us. I'm a little drunk, so I don't act 100%. I kind of get called out by the MC, the guy that ran the room, which I should have, right? But we talked, we squashed and all that. Now, the annoying little fuck that I used to hang with, we used to go there together sometimes too. But one night, I can't even remember this guy's name. He was on Wild 'N Out, guy from Detroit. He was no longer on the show. He got kicked off at this point. And he was living back here. Now, he happened to be at the spot that night. And just because you are known, just because you are from a city and known, doesn't mean shit. I don't care what city, it's the truth, alright? Because he comes, does his little 5 minutes like we all do, right? That's all we got there. So we're all doing our little 5. And he's expecting, well, okay, I got everything on my side. I'm in my city. This is a pretty relaxed spot at the moment. I'm just gonna go sit down in a chair and bitch for 5 minutes and say I'm funny. Nobody laughed. There's a little chuckle here or there, but it wasn't for his jokes. I wish I could say it was. I don't want to see somebody bomb like that, but it is what it is. Now, after him, they put me up. Right? And I go and do my little thing. Luckily, there is a table there, a little booth with a woman that just got married, all that. I do a little crowd work, joke back and forth a little bit, have them eating out of the palm of my hand, right? I was bald-headed at the time, had a beard shorter than this, but still had a beard, all that. I was telling dirty jokes, rotten jokes, stuff that's messed up, and they were eating it out of the palm of my hand. I come off, he's sitting back in a chair, not near a table, just kind of out, just kind of trying to big dog it, if you ask me. And I walked past, and I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to quiet, get back, because I don't know him like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm a fan or whatever, especially because I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, he's alright, I guess, sometimes. But and that might sound like me being an asshole. That's just personal preference, not for me. But he stops me, tells me it's a, you know, I did good and all that, and that we should do something together. And I'm like, all right, whatever, sure. And I just left it at that. I wasn't going to take his information. I wasn't doing a show with him. I just saw him bomb. I'm already not a fan of him. You know what I mean? So why am I going to get his information? It's not like, oh, we had a conversation and it really made me think that I want to hang out more with this guy. You know what I mean? Which could have been the case. Been that case with plenty of other people. There was a comic that I booked when I was booking shit at the comic shop that was there that night too. Guy's bisexual. And he was telling bisexual jokes in a, place, a bar that is not known for that. You know what I mean? And that can be bad anywhere. It wasn't horrible for me. He didn't get kicked out. He didn't get booed off or anything like that. But I did see the guy that was wilding out and all that get a little angry. And it wasn't, I could tell it wasn't because he did jokes that involved gay people, shit like that. Even though that was part of it. It was that even with that, the opening got more laughs than what he got. So, and you could tell he was salty about it. He made sure that he, was known. What he felt was known, right? Known some terms, and not saying it real mad or whatever else. So, look, the comic that did all the gay stuff, we're talking, and he was like, well, and I'm like, dude, we're not going to talk about it here, but next time I see you, you say that you are a comic from out there, this, that, the other thing, that you've been doing this for years. Maybe you've been doing it for years, but you haven't been doing it for years in a real city. Because there's plenty of cities where you have to know what material you're doing to know if you can make it out, without a lot of bullshit. And you chose the wrong place. You're going to be, and basically throw them on that later. But that shows you nothing's a given. Anything can change at any time, and what you think's going to go over doesn't necessarily do it. You being yourself and being right for that situation, what I'm saying is in the right mindset for that situation that you're in, you might do alright. You might be able to pull it off, and you might do better than what you thought. They liked me there. They had me come back. They didn't invite me back, but they never said no. Went back a few more times. Always had a good time there. So, alright, so there's another guy that ran a podcast, and I went on his shit, and he was telling a story about that same spot. He's from the other side of town. He's from the suburbs. I think he's afraid of his own shadow because it's darker than him, to be honest with you. He was telling me a story. He went out there, he was drinking, his buddy ditched him, and he had to call an Uber, and he was scared and all that. I'm like, dude, then you're in the wrong business. Because if you're going to be scared with stuff like that, and you're a trucker, what you going to do? You're going to be in bad situations. It's going to happen when you're filling up something somewhere around the line. There's no way to dodge it. So you're having a problem out here, and they're not even having a problem with you. You're just uncomfortable. I understand broadening your horizons and making yourself more comfortable in situations, but it's not trial by fire every time, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't decide to see how bad, people really are racially, and then just automatically show up to the KKK. You get what I'm saying? Why would you do that to yourself? Just show up there, you're in all kinds of trouble, you're in over your head, and you don't even know how, and you know that. Why are you going to do it?